tusimame pamoja kulinda uhuru na umoja wetu. Enyi bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote tuimbe pamoja, kuenzi shikamano hatima yetu. Tujitoe wenyewe kupambana pamoja, uhuru na umoja vitawale. Enyi bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote na tujibidishe kutoa kilicho bora kwa Afrika. Chimbuko la wanadamu, chemchemi ya utamaduni, tumaini letu wakati wa mafarakano. Enyi bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima.
Let us make Africa the tree of life. You are most welcome to watch us here at Humanist TV Africa. We are a registered media charity organization registered to do work that empower our people, inspire them, and get them out of poverty, get them out of stereotypes, and make them do better than yesterday. Now, today's show is the usual Saturday show where we always get experts that know much about consumer rights, food policy issues, and all that. We get them here and they teach us. We learn from them as consumers so that we can be able to do better. As farmers, we can be able to do better today. I'm so proud to have a bigger team, and from, of course, my neighboring country there, Kenya. I have been to Kenya. Kenya is one of the powerhouses. In fact, the biggest powerhouse in East Africa is Kenya. So today, I have these Kenyans here, the experts are going to be telling us about issues to do with consumer rights. So of course, all of you know that we normally have Mr. Kimera here in the studio, and we have Mr. Bernard Bambale right there, and Professor Kaya, who is not with us today. My name is Kato Mukasa. I'm a Ghanaian lawyer, currently based in the UK. But we all do what we can. We do our best to be able to promote rights and awareness that matter a lot to our people. Today, I want to introduce our guest, but to do that, I will request Mr. Kimera to do so. I should also tell you that Mr. Kimera was actually my trainer when I just left university in 2003 or 4, around there. He's the first guy who taught me about consumer rights. So that's why we are here, because we have that connection. He taught me about consumer rights when I had a scholarship from the Friedrich Herbert Foundation, the German scholarship to do leadership. And as leaders, we are being taught about rights, including consumer rights. So one of the facilitators was that gentleman there, Mr. Kimera. So we have a long history of learning from this gentleman here. So Mr. Kimera, you're going to do us the honors to introduce the guests for today, but also give us the opener for this show. Mr. Kimera, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kato. And like I always say, it is a great honor to always be with you. Like you put it to us, this is the second month and 2 weeks ever since we started our consumer program on African and on Humanist TV Africa. So, and we are greatly honored to have our colleagues on the Consumer Rights Month. Like I earlier said, this month we have dedicated it to consumer rights and responsibilities and bringing in other consumer organizations on the continent to share what they are doing with regards to promoting consumer rights and responsibility to improve the consumer welfare and what they do in their advocacy. So today we are honored to have Dr. Alice Kemuto, the Chief Executive of Consumer Grassroots Association of Kenya, and she will be sharing with us what they have and what they are doing to promote consumer rights in Kenya. One other thing, she is a coordinator of the Coalition of Consumer Organizations in Kenya. So we'll be hearing from the coordinator herself what consumer agendas they have. So we also have Marilyn. She's also from the Grassroots Consumer Organization, a community-based, and she will be also in position to share with us. And I was wondering why her voice was low on TV when she's speaking to the communities without a microphone or a megaphone. Her voice is even louder than the gadget. So I trust today she will over-speak the barriers of what do not facilitate her to do the outreach. So this time you are not a community based. This time you are a global consumer activist, irrespective of the Humanist Africa TV, but it is watched globally, like the producer was telling us, it is all continents. So Miriam, today you are speaking to more than the only community-based organization that you always work with, the consumer-based community organization. So colleagues, very quickly, in the first series, it was an opportunity for Uganda to kickstart right at the deep end, and we are going to swim towards the shallow end because we know all consumers cannot swim. So having gone through the curtain riser, which was the first series, we went on to the genesis of how the consumer movement started. And we had to note that the month of March has got many celebrations. But yesterday was the International Women's Day. And the Women's League was one of the different consumer organizations way back in the time of depression in the United States, in Europe and elsewhere, that the housewives, the women who are the foundation of a home, found that whatever goods and services were being offered were not commensurate with the price. Their households were sick, and they decided to get together through their networks to talk about how to work on consumer issues. So colleagues, the World Consumer Rights Day was designated by the General Assembly in 1985. There is a UN guidelines on consumer protection. They raise a lot of issues, and some of the issues we are discussing are enshrined there. They keep on improving those guidelines with the trends of the global trends. And some of the issues we are going to discuss are enshrined in there, but they started with the digitalization and now different digital financing aspects. And currently, this year, the theme of the World Consumer Rights Day, which is to occur on the 15th, is fair and responsible AI, which is artificial intelligence for consumers. What we have done in Uganda with regards to that, after that theme in Uganda, like I said last week, say no to unsafe products, services. We appreciate that artificial intelligence, AI, provides different products and services. I gave in the aspect that you recall robots when they were coming in. That is all part of artificial intelligence. These days, people, when they walk into their houses, they say, Siri, do I have any messages on my phone? Siri, what's the time? May you wake me up at 7, Siri. That is artificial intelligence. Those all of us doing digital services, financial services, there are positives and negatives. Those that we would like to discuss during this month, but doing a lot of awareness to sensitize consumers, not only in the African continent, but globally. So, Paul, that is what I could do with, and I still wanted to add on, that day Paul learned a lot, because Bernard had to define who is a consumer, and Paul found himself that he was a consumer of many services and products directly and indirectly. And that means if Kato that day learned, then there are many consumers who learned that day that they can be direct and indirect consumers. Even when their children are consuming services, you end up also being a consumer or a secondary consumer of the.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Second is the series. This month we are going to have 5 series. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kimera. Indeed, I'm a student of life. I always say I learn every day from everyone. Everyone is my teacher. Every day I keep on learning. We have a Mr. Odiambo in the studio. Mr. Odiambo, can you hear me, sir? Okay, now let us start it off with the ladies, because after all, yesterday was the International Women's Day. Let us start off with the ladies, and they tell us a few things about Kenya and, of course, what they are doing right there. Let us start with Dr. Alice. Alice, yes. It's your space now.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's a great opportunity. I've been hearing about the Humanist TV. I've followed the series. I can assure you, Mr. Kimera is passionate about the whole, all the products and the activities that you do in Humanist TV. And they started sharing with us, and we developed the interest and the urge to be with you. And I'm so grateful that today is that day that has been made for us. And what a day after celebrating the world, International Women's Day. So we want to wish ourselves as ladies a happy belated International Women's Day. And those of you who have them at home, please extend this to them. Yeah, as I said, my name is Dr. Alice Kemunto. I'm privileged to be the team leader, Consumer Grassroots Association. And I'm also privileged to be the coordinator, or they call me the chairperson of the Coalition of Consumer Organizations in Kenya, a formation we started 4 years ago because we felt we needed to widen our space of consumer protection and ensure that there are more voices speaking for the voiceless in this country. And at this point in time, we are privileged to work with our colleagues in Consent Uganda. Mr. Kimera has been very resourceful, and going forward, we are expanding to East Africa. So it's our prayer that as we continue growing, we make this space, we would really prefer that we get such a spaces like the Humanist TV to escalate and disseminate information to other consumers and consumer organizations, lobby groups, and that way we will expand our leadership and our activities across Africa. In Africa, consumer voice is not as huge as it is in the West. And we appreciate ourselves, we acknowledge that fact, and we are ready for the challenge. We've always been ready for the challenge, and we look forward to amplify consumer voice in Africa as never before. as a team. So I'm so much privileged to be here today and to speak about AI. AI is to those of us who are privileged to be born some years ago. AI looks like a mountain to us, but actually, as Mr. Chimera said, AI is not an animal that we've not lived with. AI has been here before us, and it has been improving gradually. And even what we are using right now is AI, actually. So, Mr. Moderator, I don't know whether you wanted me to do only introduction or dive into the topic of today.
Let us do the introduction, then we shall come back to you immediately after that. Let us hear from Laine. Please, about your organization and you a bit.
Hey, I'm also privileged to be in this space. The most expert people who are working globally, and Marilyn Laine from Mombasa County, leading in the organization called Coco Iju Africa, that we speak to grassroots women in the grassroots, in the community, where when we talk to them about AI, it's something that looks like an animal to them, but as an organization, we need to break it down to the language that our people can understand so that they can also consume the right information and also make sure that they're not taken advantage of. And being in the community is one thing that is very encouraging, it's very positive, and something that can make you always sleep well and wake up well, because at least you are dealing directly with human beings and you are changing somebody, even one person or two people a day, so that they can understand exactly what is working and what is new in the global, so and they can consume it. And that's the media business that we do amongst the community here in the Coast region.
Sorry, it was me. I was keeping the discipline. Mr. Diambo, most welcome. Most welcome, sir. If you can hear me.
Thank you, sir. I can hear you.
Please give us a bit of your introduction. I know you come from the Association of Insurance Consumers of Kenya, but of course people want to know more about it.
Thank you. Sorry for coming late. My gadget was not ready. But my name is Jekonia Otieno Odhiambo, National Secretary, Association of Insurance Consumers of Kenya. This organization was formed to champion the rights of insurance consumers. As you are aware, insurance has been demystified in the past, and our reason for coming into this space was to demystify insurance. Not many people know about insurance. Not many people know about insurance services. Not many people know that insurance is an area that can support the economy, the industry itself, and therefore, the Association of Insurance Consumers came in to open up the industry to both the consumer and the provider of insurance. I don't think that's enough. Maybe you can give me time to discuss more later.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Diambo. That's quite good because insurance do a lot of work, but I should say, before I went to law school, I knew little about insurance. We don't normally know about insurance. We think it's for the rich, it's for the elites.
This is what we've come to demystify. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now, Bernard,
thank you.
Give us a bit of at least a hello to our viewers, then we shall go back to Alice.
Hello, our dear viewers.
Bernard,
thank you so much.
Bernard, we shall get you off and you put your house in order. Alice, let us go back to Alice now. Alice, you had something to solve course going forward. Let us hear from you.
Kato.
Yes.
Is
Alice,
that okay? Is that better?
It's better now. Alice, you're muted. We shall come back to you in a minute. Bernard, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, our viewers, for always taking time to listen to us. And I want to welcome all of you colleagues for joining this discussion. And every Saturday we are here. And I always say with Henry that this is the start. So we're just starting to engage. So for the whole year, I think we shall be able to engage every other Saturday. So please let us listen to our guests today. They will share with us a number of aspects. And Henry and I will keep on, adding on as usual, as we've always discussed. So I hope that we can go into the discussion with the new colleagues to share with us their perspective of what we're going to discuss today. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes, Bernard, Thank you so much, Bernard. Of course, we are more interested in our Kenyan sisters and brothers. Yes, we better hear from them. Alice, we are all ears. We are all ears.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Kato, for, I hope I've pronounced your name well, Kato or Kato?
They call me Kato, whatever they call me, I accept, no problem.
Kato, okay, thank you so much. Yeah, as we said, consumer space in Kenya has started growing, in the recent years, like let's say 4 or 5 years ago. We know that those that came before us have done their job, have done their bit, and as those that have come in later, we also have a bit to do, and that's why we've come in with different approaches, different ways on which to bring consumer organizations together. Before I speak on the topic of today, I want to encourage our consumers, all consumers, because we are all consumers in Africa, those who are listening to this voice in Africa and the globe, to please be proud of yourself as a consumer, because without you, there'll be no products in the market. Without a consumer, there'll be no producer in another space. So be proud of yourself and encourage yourself that you are worth. We value you. Without you, we cannot be here speaking about consumer issues. And then those particular listening to us and continue listening to us, we want to say that we are here to protect you like never before. We are here to enhance the protection. We may not protect you per se, but we are enhancing this protection by empowering consumers to come out and protect themselves. So, Mr. Kato, in Kenya, we have about 20 consumer organizations. And out of the 20 consumer organizations, we came together, 10 consumer organizations, to form a coalition. And we know that the process of coalition formation is not easy. We know there are group dynamics that befell us. And here we are as a strong coalition for consumer organization. Just the other day, we got legal backing, and now we are an entity that can transact business on behalf of consumers. And we are here, the 3 organizations, but 7 more, I think they must be listening to us. And their representatives are actively participating in the community, ensuring that consumer protection is upheld. And the manner in which we came together is that we don't want organizations to do the same thing, but consumer organizations are doing different, they're into different aspects, they're into different sectors, and together now we come under one umbrella and discuss those areas that affect us jointly. We come under the umbrella of the Coalition of Consumer Organizations. We share our success stories and we share our challenges, and together we try to see how best we can make it for consumers to get services and consumers to be respected in this space, because our ultimate goal is to ensure that every consumer is respected, their rights upheld, and there's a fair marketplace for all consumers to play. So that's our ultimate goal, no matter where we are. And that's why we say, if any service, if any product in the market is not safe, then it's not safe for consumers. They are not supposed to consume that product. So I just want to go down to the topic of today. This is the month of consumer rights awareness, and it's a month we are celebrating the World Consumer Rights Day. The topic for today is more or less talking about issues to do with digital, and AI cannot be left behind, and that's why the theme is responsible AI for consumers. So we all know that AI is not really something that started yesterday. It has been with us here for a very long time. It started during the ancient times. If you learn more about AI, it has improved gradually to where we are right now. Those milestones were very key. In every stage, there were milestones, and there are things that consumers were consuming from the products that were brought to the market. But before we go directly to discuss on how AI can be responsible, or how AI products can be utilized for benefiting consumers, I want us to bear in mind 3 or 4 key areas that without data and without creative innovation, there will be no AI. This is one thing that we need to keep in mind. Without data and without creative innovation, there will be no AI. Secondly, without a human factor, there will be no AI. And thirdly, without consumers who are consuming the products, there will be no AI. But more importantly also, between the human factor who is developing and the consumer who is consuming the services, there are those who believe in the art, in the innovation, and those are the investors, whom we call stakeholders. So without those investors who are putting in resources for the development and dissemination of AI products, there also will not be a vibrant AI out there. So having this in mind, you realize that all players in this sector are very key, but more so consumers are very important, because the products are produced there and consumers.
Yes, we can follow you, and we shall continue hearing from Dr. Alice Kemonto there. Now, I want to ask a question to
Services.
Continue, please. Continue. Continue, Alice.
Means that,
Alice, continue.
Okay. It means that there will be no services out there to call AI. There will be no products out there that we can call AI products. So it's important to ensure that consumers have are respected, consumer rights are upheld, even when AI products are being developed. So having said that, just like a general introduction to AI, that without data, without creative innovation, without those who have invested in that, the developer himself or herself and the consumers, those are key areas and key components that you cannot do away with when it comes to discussions around AI. And now when you're talking about the product, whether AI products are safe, AI products are conducive for consumers to use, we really need to ask ourselves the following questions as we analyze whether or how AI products can be produced in a manner that is safe for consumer consumption. One, can we trust these products? That's one key issue that we need to ask ourselves. A key question we need to ask ourselves. Are these products, can we as consumers trust the products? Are the developers responsible enough? Because we said there's no AI without a developer. And AI itself, it's not a human, but a legal person. So those people that are developing, are they responsible enough that in case of any infringement, they can be sued or they can sue? Okay. AI developers, can they be sued or can they sue anyone that is also infringing their rights as developers of AI products? And is AI fair to consumers? Are those products really fair to consumers? I'm going to answer some of these questions, and I'm saying these are the questions that go through the mind of a consumer lobby group like us, consumer advocates like us. The consumers save when they're using the AI products, yeah? Do we have ways in which we have liberty and the freedom to protect our data when it comes AI usage? Okay, so these are the questions, the general questions that go through a consumer advocate, the mind of a consumer advocate like me. Because without these questions, then I'll not be really addressing the issue of consumer protection as an advocate. And when we are talking about AI innovations, are they taking into considerations the backgrounds in terms of data privacy, data protection, the norms and beliefs, are they taken into considerations? And when you analyze keenly, you'll get to realize that when it comes to maybe norms and beliefs, they might not have been considered before developing some of these products, AI products. So in introduction and also giving us a background on the questions in the mind of a consumer advocate in regards to AI, those are the areas that we consider before even going out and say, we have a data privacy law in Kenya, we have a data privacy law in Uganda, and another data privacy law in another place. Are they considered before producing the AI products? Because I mean, ideally, AI products are consumed globally, regardless of where you come from, regardless of which laws are there in your country, and regardless whether they are going to infringe or not. So I think those are the areas that we need to look into.
Thank you so much.
And finally, if I get an opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alice. I'm going to hold you a bit there. I'm going to stop you a bit there for a minute. You are flowing very well. I'm taking notes. I'm a student, I told you. I take notes whenever everyone is talking so I can be able to ask you if I don't understand. Now, we have said so many things that are very interesting, and I know our viewers are going to be taking notes. Let us ask Madame Leini. You are a grassroots advocate. You are in the grassroots. You are working with the guys on the ground. I want to ask you a question before you say what you want to say. What is this AI to the guys, the local guys in Kenya, the wananchi in Kenya? Do they understand the AI? How do I understand them? Because even me, I may not be able to understand AI. How about my mother, my grandmother? Do they understand these things?
Okay, in the grassroots, AI, in the grassroots, AI in the grassroots, that's something that me as an advocate is the first thing that I need to understand in order to share with my community. So first and foremost, what is it? You know, what is it? That's what I have to know and share with the community. You know, artificial intelligence, what is it? I need to break it down and to localize it within the community in order for them to be able to consume what they already know. As Madam Alice has just put it, it was, you know, what is it? Is it something that we know? Is it something, you know, like for us, in order for us to share in the community, you have to itemize it. You have to bring it to the ground. Like, for example, I have to share with them and give an example like, okay, do you know what artificial intelligence is? Have you ever heard about it? Oh, no, that is an animal that you don't know in the ground. So what is it? Is there something that I can show or share with them in order for them to understand in their own local language, in their own native language? For example, as it was just being put by Mr. Kimera, he was saying like, okay.
Yes, Alain there has a problem. Of course, the network normally gets us out and in. Mr. Odiambo, the insurance representative. Insurance is quite a big thing in Kenya. Kenya is a powerhouse. The best economy in East Africa is Kenya. So let's talk about insurance and AI. Mr. Odiambo.
AI is very important when it comes to insurance, because insurance is one area where it's a subject that's not understood. And actually, we need to begin with educating the people on insurance, on the products, on orientation, market orientation, consumer obligation, consumer rights, health and wellness, I mean. And in fact, even Consumer Act. And many emerging issues. Actually, artificial intelligence is one of the emerging issues that must be addressed not just by the insurance industry, but by all sectors, especially all sectors dealing with consumers.
Yes, Mr. Odiambo, we can hear you. Please continue.
Yeah, so as Alice said, we need to have data. Without data, she said, there's no AI. Without creative innovation, there's no AI. Without human factor, there's no AI. Without the consumer itself, there's no AI. And therefore, many factors need to put in place even as we pursue consumer interests, especially in our industry. Our industry, like, we came in because there were issues of knowledge gap and trust gap. These are the gaps we came to fill as AIC, Association of Insurance Consumers. When addressing the two gaps, the knowledge gap and the trust gap, trust meaning the consumer does not have trust in the insurance, and therefore majority don't consume because they don't understand it. Again, they don't have the knowledge. So these are the key gaps we came to fill, and therefore artificial AI or artificial intelligence needs to come in very strongly. Do I need to continue?
Yes, please continue, sir. Continue.
Okay. So there are many areas that we are looking at as insurance consumers. So the areas of training, actually we have 10 areas of training. One is the products. Number 2 is the services. Number 3, policy interpretation. Number 4 is redress mechanisms and platforms. Number 5, the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders in the industry? We call it industry orientation. And as I said earlier, consumer obligation, then health and wellness, and then the Consumer Act itself. Then the Competition Act. We have an act called the Competition Act, which regulates the players in the consumer sector. And again, the one very major areas is emerging issues. Emerging issues, especially insurance, are very detailed. Like fraud has become very complex. And it's very complex, and especially in our industry. And that's an area that we have to have education. Then we have digitalization, which is now everywhere, common everywhere. It's taking up, it's coming in very fast in our industry. Then litigation issues. How do you handle litigation issues when it comes to insurance? And then lastly, consumer dynamics. How are the consumers behaving when it comes to insurance products? There are products that are not taken up. There are products that companies prefer. There are products that are never taken up whatsoever. And these are areas we are pursuing as an association.
Thank you, sir. And before you come in, of course, we come in later. I want to think about it as we prepare to come in the third phase of the talk. Now, Mr. Odiambo, think about this, that in Uganda, just like in Kenya, many people fear insurance companies because we think, including myself, that basically they don't serve us. They simply take your money. When you go there, they give you excuses and all that.
Exactly.
How does AI, think about these ones. You come back later.
Yes.
Explain a bit. how does AI help us, the consumers, to allay our fears that actually we are going to be served? Or it simply gives us fake data to say that a company is working, but actually it's not working. So think about it. How do we use AI to assure these farmers, to assure these consumers that actually the banks, the insurance companies are going to help us? Now, going back to Madam Lane, you went off. It was your time, and you went off because of network. It's understandable. We are a live show. Let us continue with you.
Yeah, I was talking in the grassroots. People will want to understand exactly what are we talking about when you come to the word, when you come to AI. What is AI? You need to break down this information so that they can be able to understand and use it in their mother tongue, especially in the grassroots. So, like, for us to work, we need to understand these terminologies, and also we need to understand exactly what does it mean and what does it entail. So when we are meeting our grassroots women, what we do is we explain to them exactly what that means. Like by giving examples. Like, for example, I was talking about Siri. What is Siri? Siri is an artificial intelligence that you can always use, a gadget or a phone that you have, to ask and get information online. So, and then again, you have to do it practically so that they can understand, so that they can see, so that they can know exactly what that is. So that's how we work closely with our women in the grassroots, because they are not people some of them have not even been to class, and yet they are consumers of these things because they have children and they have sons and daughters internationally, and they want to engage with them. They want to understand how the globe is working. But does it mean that when you are not educated, you don't want to consume these services? So that's what we do. We come in to help the grassroots women to understand, grassroots ladies to understand exactly what is in the market and how they consume it and how it should be consumed. And also making sure that they are not being taken advantage of.
Now, Madam Lane, yes. And of course, Dr. Alice will come in there, and of course, Bernard will come in there, and Kimera to explain. Now, I'm very ignorant. Let us take it that way. And I live in rural Uganda. My district is Rengo. That's a fact. Now, I'm a consumer buying stuff from my shop in the village. But I'm also a farmer of onions, tomatoes, bananas, and others. I want you, the 4 experts, to explain to me in 3 minutes each. How do you explain to me, a local farmer who never went to school, about this animal we call AI? I will start with Dr. Alex. Remember, I grow onions, I grow tomatoes, and I buy my stuff from a store in my village. Please help me break it down. Explain this animal, AI, artificial intelligence. How does it concern me? How does it affect my livelihood? Dr. Alice.
Thank you so much, Kato, for that question. That's not a simple question as you just put it, and you cannot answer it with just one sentence.
Of course.
It takes a verse.
I agree.
Yes. Yeah. So you are a local farmer and you want to understand how AI works. Remember, AI products are different and they work differently. So the products you are consuming, I will start from the known to unknown. I'll look at what you are consuming locally and refer to you to that particular product as an AI product. And then I'll start from there to take you to scale it higher to understand what AI is doing globally. So I may not give you a direct answer, but now that you said you are a farmer and maybe a farmer also of Matoke, so now that you said you are a farmer down there and you want to know how AI affects you, I'll take you back to your digital platform where you are using to transfer funds digitally. That is a form of AI. If you are sending an email, that's a form of AI. AI is not an isolated animal or product out there. but it's cumulative products. Those products that are using internet, actually we call them internet powered. Those products that you can only effect or be able to utilize if you have gadgets. Like now, if you are sending a message, you must have a gadget with a phone, regardless.
Please continue, Dr. Alice.
Regardless of what sort of phone you are using, whether is in Kenya we call it mlikamwizi, whether you are using that the small phone, or you are using a smartphone, or you are using another platform. So that's how I'll start explaining to you about AI. So AI means different to different groups of people. So basically, if you want to educate consumers at the grassroots about AI, start from the known and then slowly move to unknown. I think I've responded to your question.
You are a great teacher. You're a great teacher. You're a professor for me now. You see, I'm ignorant. I admit. So now I'm learning from you. Let me go back to Ms. Odiambo. Odiambo, the insurance guru here. Insurance. Most of us pay insurance. I should tell you, me, I used to pay insurance for my car only, and because they forced me to pay it. Now, you should please break these things for the raw guy there. But look, you need AI and insurance the way to go. Help us understand AI in terms of insurance.
Yes, you talked of paying premiums, and then you don't know what happens, or excuses when it comes to services. Now, our reason for coming in is to ensure that the insurance company gives a promise that they can fulfill. A promise that they can fulfill. Number two, another area was exposure. Expose insurance to everybody so that they can buy. Yes, if you don't expose it, if you keep it in a cocoon, it will not grow. Expose it to the public so that they're able to buy. Thirdly, there's the issue of data protection is coming up. There's a data protection policy. We will need to use a lot of data to communicate or for our use as an organization. Now, this data, most of it we'll want to collect from insurance companies or the umbrella body for insurance companies. Now, we are working out ways in which to get this data, especially on what has happened in the past. Who are the claimants who have been aggrieved? Who are the claimants with issues? And therefore, AI must work specifically in every line of our activity, every single line. But our main reason for coming into this space was to let insurance get exposed, let this, what they call small prints, be exposed. We call it policy interpretation. Let them be interpreted, let them be broken down into what they actually mean, not reading between the lines to get your answers. And therefore, AI is a critical area that must be applied to ensure that insurance services from each and every company, not just from because a lot of complaints have been going to the commissioner or insurance regulatory authority. But we are also advising them to use us because we have that knowledge. We are on the ground and we are accessible. So they should come to us, be advised, and before they proceed to the commissioner or other complaint areas.
Mr. Janda, thank you so much. Of course, I
believe that I'm clear enough.
You are clear. I'm going to ask you a few questions going forward. Crispus Kinyua from Kenya and Felix Odiambo are sending their greetings and, of course, appreciations to everyone in the studio. We are grateful you are following. Please keep the comments coming. Now, Mr. Odiambo, think about this. We shall come back to you later on.
Yes.
People don't normally trust insurance companies because they say that insurance companies
Yes.
have to make it so hard for them to get them compensated. I'm a commercial lawyer, I should say.
Yes.
Maybe I didn't say this. And
Yes.
when I was doing my master's degree, I was doing it in commerce, commercial law. Because now I discovered in some of the cases I was handling that actually many insurance companies pay, but people don't know the procedures. Now, you, as an insurance advocate, I would expect you to use AI to break down the data by company to company to see how many cases are reported and how many cases are successfully handled. So to me, as a consumer, if you told me that, say, Jubilee Insurance Company got 1,000 cases this year and was able to successfully pay off this much, to me, this data would be helping me. So first of all, know that Jubilee Insurance Company works. I'm just giving an example. So in this way, the consumer would understand, oh, this is how it works. I want to thank so much Dr. Alice and of course Leim for explaining it to a low farmer, a villager like me, that if you are going to talk about AI, for example, do you use mobile money? In Kenya, we have M-Pesa. When I was in Kenya, I was using M-Pesa. Up to now, guys in Uganda use M-Pesa, which is the best way to communicate. Now tell them, you're a farmer, you get this money on your phone, and you are selling your goods online. AI is part of you. So let me go back to Mr. Bernard. Mr. Bernard, help us also break it for us, understanding AI and how we can use it to harness markets and move forward as consumers.
Okay, thank you, Kato, and the colleagues who have been presenting to us. One is that looking at our context, you know, one of the consumer rights that we have is the right to safety, making sure that our consumers are actually safe. So if you look at an example, someone is going to the bank, they have a very small group of people in the village, and you know, they have been saving their monies, maybe in a village saving group or maybe in a circle. And you can imagine someone going to withdraw maybe 100 million, and then they carry it in the bag. And you know, the community members are aware that you've gone to the bank. Anything can happen on the road, on the way, and people grab you. But the mere fact that you can sit in your room or maybe in a group where you are, and then you can make a transaction on your phone and money comes on your phone, that is how AI has supported this process of consumers being protected from where they are. So you're not moving anywhere, but you're just seated, and then you can be able to make a transaction where you are. That is part of the AI. If you look at our farmers, these are the people in the food system that are producing a lot of food, but maybe they are not able to, you know, they are not able to reach out or to be reached out by the extension workers, the agriculture extension workers, but they need the services. So AI enables you to be able to put this information maybe online, and this farmer just sits in his garden and is able to consult with his phone and is able to get the information right there. So that process there of being able not to really move to look out for an extension worker, but you're getting it from your home or on your farm, that is AI, that is artificial intelligence. If you look at our people who are packaging, let us look at maybe mineral water. Our consumers have a right to information, that the information on every product is supposed to be provided. Now, you look at a farmer or maybe a consumer at his home and he buys a product, but he can be able to tell what are the components in this product just by scanning the QR code on your product. You've bought it or you're going to buy it, and then you're able to use a QR code on it. You have your phone, just a cell phone, and you're able to know where is this product coming from. Is it from Sweden? Is it from US? When you're just in your house or maybe in a supermarket, for you to prevent yourself from buying something you're not sure of, you're able to just grab your phone, and then you're able to scan it and you're able to see where it came from. This is part of AI supporting in fulfillment of the consumer rights. If you just look at the labeling aspect, you cannot label a product unless you have AI in the perspective. Just imagine you're labeling, you know, a bottle of beer. This is a bottle. but you want to indicate the expiry date, you'll need some technology to make sure that you have an expiry date indicated there. If you look at the packaging, just look at a factory that is packing soda or water. In every 1 minute, they have about 1,000 bottles packed just in a minute. Meaning that us, the consumers, are able to quickly get our products very quickly because AI or the technology is available to quicken the process of actually packaging and all this stuff. And this is why we are able to have products that are actually sealed, because there is something behind the technology that can quicken the process of labeling, of packaging. And so the demand and supply issue is answered if there is AI available. Look at the ordering of food. Our consumers are supposed to order food. They have to order food maybe online. Now the question is, you're seated and then you want a product X, and this product X is not in your jurisdiction. But in a minute, you're able to look up for that product online, and you're able to purchase it online. You're even able to send money online. So you can imagine how much cost you're saving, the transport cost, you are going to the hotel or to the supermarket to search for it. All this time is compensated. So all these small things that we do to acquire services and products in our comfort zones, but using online platforms or using technology, they are also under the AI. So I would look at it as, what is it that we are doing? Yes.
Thank you, Ben. I'm going to stop you there because today we have special visitors. For you, you can always come back. And of course, I'm going to invite them to come back whenever they want to come back, and we learn from them. Dr. Alice, of course, wanted a platform. I'm going to get back to you, Dr. Alice, in a minute. Let us hear from Mr. Kimera. Mr. Kimera, this animal called AI, how do we, as rural farmers in Rwanda, understand it? Mr. Kimera, can you hear me? Mr. Kimera,
what we need to look at as consumers, we need to look at AI as an enabler. It enables us in many aspects. And what most of the times people would say, what is behind the phone or the gadgets that we are using? It is AI that is facilitating it. We could call it an invisible person.
Please, can you mute yourself?
So it helps the farmers
so we can avoid an echo.
Product and goods.
Kimera, continue. We have muted ourselves for you to continue.
So, yeah. So, like I was saying, Paul, that AI is an enabler for us as an ordinary farmer, as a consumer. It is, I would say, to a local person, I would say it is serving you or providing you a service through technology or through all these channels, that it is something that is not physical itself, but it is a service provider. That's in a simple way, like one would say it in Swahili, one would say it in Luganda, omuntu atalabika naye nga akuweereza ayita mu teknolojia.
The invisible person that is able to serve you without you saying this invisible person.
Yes.
Continue now. Let us go back to Dr. Alice. Dr. Alice, there was something I wanted to put across. The mic is yours now. Dr. Alice.
That is what I can say, Paul, and
Thank you so much, Mr. Kimera. Thank you so much, Mr. Kimera. We are back to Dr. Alice.
Thank you so much, Kato, Mr. Kato. Ideally, one of the things I wanted to put across already, Mr. Chimera has already said it, that AI should be an enabler for it to serve consumers well. That is one of the areas I wanted to emphasize. And the second thing I wanted to say is that AI can be used to enhance different sectors to achieve their own goals and aspirations. And for it to be a very responsible platform for consumers to benefit from, then it has to be trustworthy. So, meaning that the developers have to input data that is credible. So, data that is used to build a platform should be credible, data that can be trusted by consumers. And secondly, that platform should be fair to consumers. It should not discriminate against consumers, because we have the consumers from different backgrounds and diverse backgrounds, and we need a platform where all consumers will be accommodated. So it should be inclusive. It should take care of, so to speak, those who are differently enabled in our society to also use AI. Data privacy is key among the areas that I wanted to highlight, that any platform, any gadget, any AI product should take this into consideration. So for us to know that, or for us to be sure, be protected, as we say that in consumer protection, there are 8 rights that consumers are supposed to ensure that they are not infringed. And one of them is a right for your data to be protected, a right for you to be protected as a person. So your data also is you, it forms part of you. So it's important that the data is protected. And another area that we need to look into is that the developers should be accountability, because in case they input data that is not correct, and maybe there's something that has gone wrong for consumers, and maybe someone's name has been maligned, and you want to take this platform to court, they should be accountable. There has to be that leeway that they can be sued, and they can also sue, but they can be sued in any country regardless. And this is where I want to bring Africa into perspective. Most of the products that are produced out there, and when I talk of out there, I'm talking about outside Africa, are usually meant for Africans to consume. You see, we are more largely a consumer continent. So whatever comes, regardless whether it's safe or not safe, it's just brought down to us and pushed down to our throat. And that's why I began by saying that consumers in Africa mostly are not enjoying the space of consumer protection, and their rights are infringed every other day. Talk of any sector, come to agriculture, there are toxic pesticides that are pushed down into the throat of the African soil. And because we don't have a unified consumer voice to come up and say no to unsafe products. So that's why if we want to benefit from AI, or if AI developers really wish well for consumers, this is one of the areas that consumer protection rights have to be at least to be scaled higher using the AI products for it to benefit consumers. And we need also to ensure that product, and especially the food safety advocacy, is upscaled in AI. Put information into those platforms that can enable, especially the youth, because they really interact with these gadgets, to get information that is very credible, and they can protect themselves from there. Upscaling the uptake of agroecology in Africa. We want safe food, and that's what I'm talking about. Pesticides, responsible use of pesticides. It has to be information that is being put on the AI platform platforms for people to get that information, and the information will help them instead of us going everywhere. Remember, we are very few consumer advocates. We cannot purport to be speaking for each and every consumer in Africa. We can only do the small bit, and the rest can be put on this platform. So let me go back by saying AI should be an enabler, and enabling in a positive manner. Thank you so much, Mr. Kato.
Thank you so much, Dr. That was really very good. I was reading into the chats, and of course, Madam Lane talked something very, very important. It said that AI is used for marketing. It's the only better platform you can use to get goods right from your room, right from your market. I mean, from your garden to the market. I think that's very important. Lane, let me go back to you as we make more this point clear. Then we shall go back to Mr. Odiam.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kato. In the grassroots, what we teach our grass women is that this AI, what is AI? As my colleagues have really defined it so rightfully and so well, what we do, we teach our community on how to use this tool in the right direction. Like, for example, the practical way is that if you want to buy something that is not there, like for example, we are in the coast region now, and it is very, very hot around here. So when you want to buy fans, where can you get it in a conducive or the right prices that you want to buy from? It is very easy. We teach our women on how to go online and check on the market and where you can afford or can get this product in a better price than in Mombasa now, because it's very hot in Mombasa. When you go to the shop to buy them, you find them with very expensive prices. But now, because of the artificial intelligence, what is it that you can do? You can take your gadget, your phone, right in your household, and then you check online where can you get it in a cheaper price and how it can be delivered. And you can also check if the quality is right, and also how long will it take for you to get these products around you. So, you bring it closer to their door so that they can understand the importance, so that they can become clients out there, so that they can buy products of people who are selling them, and they can also sell their own products so that it becomes conducive and other people can also enjoy the services. And another thing is that AI is also another way of our grassroots women to learn so many things that they did globally. Because nowadays you don't need to go to America, you don't need to go to Uganda, you don't need to go where, so that you can learn things that Ugandans are doing. You just take your phone and then you start asking those questions. For those who do not know how to read, they can go and start asking Siri, I want to know ABCD, and then Siri will explain, So that is how the artificial intelligence will bring it very close to our community here in Mombasa. So you don't need to have a degree, or you don't need to have what knowledge, but you can still have that same information at the comfort of your room, at the comfort of your land, at the comfort of your shop, as you are doing your business, or as you are you are enjoying the services. And that's how we have learned to teach or to advocate or to share with our grassroots women the importance of AI and how to use it. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Laine. In fact, you are very right that once you get this gadget we call a phone and type anything in Swahili, I know it's possible. You are going to get the answer in Swahili. When I was in Kenya, I had trouble with language until when I mastered a few things. But I know the reason why we start our shows with a Swahili anthem, which is African, is because we are saying we are all Africans. We should be identified the way we must be identified. We are Africans. Why should we be having all these anthems in English, in French, whatever it is? It must be Swahili. Now, we do think that actually, if you encourage people to search using their phones, how do we protect our crops from such diseases? You simply search. It's going to come in Swahili and you're going to be able to read. So I'll be able to say, you see, AI is helping you. There is a man there inside this phone is helping you solve your problems. Let us go to of course, a woman, because it is the International Women's Day. It must be a woman now. Let us go to Mr. Diambo. Mr. Diambo, I love insurance. I love insurance. I know how complicated it is. People misunderstand it. Now, the question I was asking you is, as the advocate for the insurance, as the consumer, how are you going to help us break down the role of insurance companies so that the guy in Machakos, in a rural place in Kenya, in the Samburu guys there, the Turkanas, wherever they are in the rural areas of Kenya, in the slums of Kibera, how are they going to be enticed to save with insurance using AI?
Now, insurance has been digitalized, and therefore every information can now use AI platforms. Like, you can complete a proposal form and send it by WhatsApp or email. You can send a claim form by email or WhatsApp. You can pay your premiums or what we call excess by M-Pesa. And therefore, the platforms are already being applied, and it has become very easy to use this to consume or to patronize insurance. It's unlike before, where you had to walk and go to the office to get services, or make a phone, or make that table phone, that old table phone. These days you can work from everywhere, even from your house. You can apply this, and your services will be you'll be given services. However, I'm not saying that a lot has been done, yes, but a lot more needs to be done. Like what we are saying is what you asked is on our what we call redress and mechanism platforms that need to be applied by insurance, by both the consumer of insurance and provider of insurance. This mechanism platform means you are not getting the services you want. Where do you go to? You are not getting the services you want. Who do you see? Now we are ensuring that this process is so smooth. You start from us before enhancing it to the commissioner or to court. You don't have to go to court. You can seek an arbitrator. You can come to us. But if we don't solve your problem, you can still go to court. But what we are saying is that the platforms are there and are being applied. All you need is to be cautious and get the right legal frameworks to use these platforms without infringing on rights of the consumer.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mr. Kimera, you are winding up. We are going to go back to you to hear from you. Then we shall have 3 minutes each of us as we had for today's show. Mr. Kimera.
I would like to thank all our colleagues. I've learned new things on how to explain AI. And like the ladies I have learned from Alice and Marianne. I really liked the way she did it in Mombasa by telling the way she's telling the rural folks on how best to use AI and to improve their lives. Indeed, AI is an enabler. So it should be fair, should be responsible, and there should be mechanisms to even make it better to serve and improve consumer lives by making them better, and we leave no consumer behind. So let's continue campaigning, sensitizing, and make it inclusive to enable consumers on the African continent. Like we said at the beginning, we are a big force. Over 1.3 billion or 1.2 billion consumers on the African continent. We need to position ourselves so that we get fair, responsible AI to improve our livelihoods. So thank you very much, and looking forward to engaging with you. I hope next time we are going to have the Zimbabwean Consumer Council. They will be sharing with us And we hope to get some other, we might have our colleagues from Rwanda, West Africa, North Africa to come and engage. So I would like to thank Dr. Alice and Marian. Thank you very much for joining in, and Mr. Odhiambo for coming in and bringing us in other aspects of the financial services. So it's a great honor, Kato, always.
Thank you so much. Mr. Kimera, thank you so much there. I have to say, even before we end the show, that I will have the team from Kenya back. The moment they are ready to come back, we shall always have you back. It was really nice having you. There was a comment from Felix Odhiambo. If Dennis can give us that comment again, it was about the e-citizens. Do you think consumers will have an above average transition to AI and access consumer customer services? Take an example of the e-citizens. Yeah, that's a great question from Felix Odhiambo. Now, Dr. Alice, we are going to have your concluding part for today. Promise me we shall have you back when you are free. We shall have you back with the team, of course, to learn more from you. But there's a question there, and of course, you have your own way to conclude this show. Dr. Alice.
You are talking about e-citizen. There's a bit I didn't get because of network.
There's a question I'm going to repeat. I'm going to repeat it for you. It's from Felix Odhiambo. Is asking, do you think consumers will have an above average transition to AI and access consumer customer services? Take an example of the e-citizen. Do you think they're going to be able to access these things?
Let me begin by saying thank you, Felix, for this question. But as consumers, we ought to be open, because if we are not open to technology, then we'll be playing a catch-up game to technology. So the best thing I could say, or the best way I can respond to this, is that with proper information and education, this is possible. So we are encouraging consumers not to play a catch-up game, but at the same time, we want the service providers to be responsible enough to educate consumers or avail platforms where consumers can be educated and get more information on the usage of these platforms. And as I conclude, Mr. Kato, thank you so much for moderating this session. And I want to thank my senior, Henry Chimera, for inviting us. We look forward to interact more in the near future, and as we make Africa great. We are great, but we become greater through this platform.
Greater.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Alice. Madam Leini, please, your observation for the show, and of course, your concluding shot for now. You are muted. You are muted. We can't hear you. You are muted. We can't hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Kato, for the great moderation. My boss, Madam Alice, plus Mr. Chimera, you are great people that I'm learning all the day from. I want to thank you all for this important thing that we are learning here, because we are all learning and also getting more ideas every day. And even now, I'm leaving this place a very richer person, because there are things that I've also learned that I'll give back to the community. But one thing I want to tell Mr. Felix is that as a consumer, we have our rights and our responsibilities. You know, for me to learn and to understand something, I need to go and learn and to get this knowledge of me to enjoy the services and the that are being sold to me. So as much as the supplier or the product is out there with the information, I also need to go a step higher as a consumer to learn and to know exactly how it will benefit me and my community. Given the fact that most of us are community advocates, that's what we do to make sure that our communities are not taken advantage of. But again, I want to encourage everybody to use these gadgets that we are having to make our lives better than we used to before, because the globe has been brought to our living room, and when we are using the gadgets rightly, we can access better services, and we can also give out better services, and we can access things that we could only see initially from the TVs without having our hands on. But now, if we embrace these services globally, the world becomes a small town where everybody can access everything, and each one of us can enjoy all these services that others are receiving. Thank you, Mr. Kato, for giving us this platform so that our small village and our small organization can also be felt globally. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Leine. Mr. Odhiambo, we want to hear from you, your parting shot, and I want to say Humans TV Africa is willing to have you back, Dr. Alice, Madam Leine, and Dr. Mr. Odhiambo. We are willing to have you back. Whenever you are ready, we shall always have you back. Let us have your parting shot for today, Mr. Odhiambo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kato. Your moderation was good. You can hear me now?
I'm hearing you. I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you properly.
Can you hear me now? I'm saying thank you very much.
Properly. Very well, yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kato. Good. I must thank you for moderating well. Although you are saying you are learning, I think you know a lot of things about consumer, especially about insurance. I also want to thank Mr. Chimera. We met before in Naivasha. We are meeting for the second time here in this platform. Thank you, Alice, for inviting me. It's Alice who invited me to this forum. Laini, thank you from Coast. We met before. The rest of the team participants, thank you very much. But what I must say is that when we learn these things, let's take them to the ground. Let us put them into activity, not just on video, not on boardrooms, but let's take them to the ground, like Laini said. Let's like AI, let's take it to the ground so that the common person there understands the meaning and its application. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Odhiambo, Dr. Alice Leine there, madam. Thank you so much. What we do at Humans TV Africa, we have our studios in different countries. What we do after the show, we share this show. So that's why you may not have so many live viewers, but at the end of the day, 3 days down the road, 4 days, we'll be having many viewers actually having watched this show because we share it with our network after the live show. So we shall do exactly that, and we shall be giving you feedback from our viewers. Now, having said that, let me hear from Mr. Bernard. Your parting shot for the day as we prepare for the next week.
All right, thank you, colleagues, for joining us. It was very nice to hear from the colleagues from Kenya. I think it was very helpful that we also listened to you and we get to learn aspects from your side. And I think it was also very nice that we got new members on board to be able to share with our viewers. And of course, as always, we've always done, we share the messaging with the rest of the teams to be able to also give in their input. And we keep on improving the show. And I think that next time we meet, perhaps we shall be looking at now, of course, everything that has an advantage will always have a disadvantage on the other hand. So probably we shall be looking at perhaps the role of civil society organizations in improving the AI, or maybe in cascading the AI. What is our role? But also maybe in the near future, we could look at now how we can make AI more relevant to our communities so that we go away from, misinformation, disinformation, and misuse of this AI. So those will be probably other topics that we shall be discussing. And God willing, we shall be here again to discuss the same subject until the end of the month as we promote the consumer protection. So I want to thank you guys, and we wish you the very best of luck during the course of next week as we plan for another show. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Bernard. And I have to say again that Team Kenya, we are going to have you back. Possibly in April, we shall have you back and discuss, tell us what's happening in Kenya. There have been deaths, people taking we call it Ajono in Eastern Uganda. I don't know what they call it in Kenya. There's that kind of local blue they take and dye in hundreds or whatever. And whatever is happening in Kenya is happening in Uganda, it's happening in Africa. We need to understand, what are you doing to safeguard the rights of consumers in Kenya, the grassroots organization? We shall have you back, the insurance people. What are you doing to avoid the fraud that is going on? People fearing to invest their money with insurance companies. What are we doing to create awareness? We shall have you back as Team Kenya and continue to educate us about what's happening in Kenya, the gaps right there, and how we can fix them. I want to thank you so much, Dr. Alice, Madam Laini, Mr. Odiambo, and of course, Mr. Kimera and Mr. Bernard. Thank you so much for honoring the invitation. And please, keep the Hope for Africa alive. Keep sharing this information. Let us be the ambassadors for a better future of our children and their children, and of course, everyone in the world. Thank you so much for being here. See you in the next one. Thank you so much. Yes.